A mother's sorrow. I take this opportunity to reclaim my identity and share. It was not so long ago that I would not dare. I tell you I'm feeling blessed, so I will try my best to tell the rest of my story. I think about my mom and where her journey started, how she was mistreated too and brokenhearted. The kids were mean and jealous, which of course led to some rebelliousness. My grandparents were sober, born-again Christians that did not sit well amongst so-called friends. My mom was middle class, my grandpa was a carpenter, and my grandma worked at the infamous Ontario Hospital. Living on the res was awful. My mom had me and my brother so young. Her life truly had just begun. My mom left that place for brighter horizons. An abusive partner, a new divorcee. They told her to put me in a home, so they took me away. My mom had to work or go to school. They said it would be easier, the new rule. The times were so different and full of shame. People were more worried about leaving a stain of shame, embarrassment for getting a divorce. Back in those days, not very Christian, of course. My mom made up her mind and broke free, so I was in that system, separated from my mommy. I grew up with secrets and had no clue. I did feel it, though. I knew something was askew. My mom met my dad, who raised me since I was a mere babe. He adopted us and loved us and always stayed. The life I had growing up was normal, as they say. I never saw debauchery or anything in disarray. I had privilege and stability that I am forever grateful for, but somehow atrocities came to dismantle forevermore. I was 16 and drunk with friends and raped by one of the boyfriends. Shame and guilt and blame came to stay. I drank and did drugs to make it go away. The fallout from this is a nightmare to share. I won't get into nitty-gritty, I will spare. Stereotypical native I had become. Pretty much I was a drunken bum. I was shipped off to Aurelia to live with my grandparents. I hit rock bottom whilst I was there. It only took a year to reach despair. Back to Guelph I came to the worst I had ever been, shaking and vomiting what is seen. I was taken to detox. I was only 18. I got sober in 1987. Went to treatment in Kitchener. Out control was like heaven. I saved space to heal from all my wounds and trauma. The beginning of me who I didn't want to be me for many years. I stopped loving myself after that DNC. I didn't think I was worthy. I stuck on that path. What a journey. I learned how to accept life on life's terms in those early days of AA, from all those people who loved me and said I would be okay. One day at a time, this too shall pass, my sponsor would say. They told me they needed me to do PI work in the high schools because I was young. I did just that. My healing had begun. I told them what it was like, what happened, and what it was like today. I spoke at conferences and meetings all over the place. I could barely read a preamble or the 12 steps or say the Serenity Prayer. Yet there I was, sharing my journey and my quest. I tell you all of these things, so you can get the gist. My sponsor took me to a fancy restaurant called the Naughty Pine. Before the meeting, the waitress came with a cheesecake in one hand and the gun-stuffed cat I had just seen. In the gift shop as we passed to our seats. I had never had tears of joy from gifts and treats. They loved me when I didn't love myself. I was celebrating my 1 year of sobriety. My sponsor helped me through all of that anxiety. I grew up in AA. I was the only young person in 1988. I celebrated my 1 year, my dry date. I went to treatment when I was 3 years sober. My parents split up. It was over. I never did the 4th step. I was doing the AA waltz, steps 1, 2, 3, steps 1, 2, 3. What a wreck. I had a lot of baggage and my grandpa was also dying of cancer. I went to North Bay Treatment Center. That was the answer. It was there during the session the counselor stated, "Good little Indian girls don't cry." He said, "Good little Indian girls don't cry." I was like, what the I was awestruck. He told me that is who you are and you need to accept and acknowledge. My grandpa passed away and I applied to the fashion merchandising program at Centennial College. I came to Toronto in 1991 all by myself. I was happy to be here and away from Guelph. There was a sober dance here every Saturday night, so I made connections prior to my move. Life was okay for a time and things seemed to go smooth. After a couple of years, I developed so-called anxiety. My world shrank and was consumed by its entirety. I suffered with anxiety issues for about 15 years, lost faith in doctors and was plagued by fears and phobias. I could barely leave my house. I had agoraphobia. I went back to Guelph to see my old physician. He told me to go back to my people and see the medicine man for my condition. When I came back to Toronto, I made an appointment at Anishinaabe Health, learned traditional teachings to smudge, becoming one with my native self. I did not know I was hypoglycemic. The doctors kept saying it was panic. Here, take Paxil, Zoloft, Ativan. Thank God I never tried Xanax. I didn't know my body thought it was still eating enough wheat, gluten, yeast, sugar in the meals I was choosing. My body thought it was still drinking. I was shocked to know it was not my stinking thinking. Low blood sugar, trembling hands, racing heart. I ran into the Seventh-day Adventist church on Sherbourne Street one day. A woman named Olga Brown came out to help me and told me to stay. I had the same thing happen again around 4 in front of Olga. It was not what they told you. Her son had it too. She came for a month and brought me my groceries and told me what to eat, what supplements to take, and what to do. My son was 10 when I found this out, and my daughter was 2. I changed my diet, regained my sanity. My poor son had endured my calamity. I had severe separation anxiety from my son from kindergarten to grade 1. It started with his teacher. It was not fun. I could not stand to be separated from my children, so I kept them close. I chose to homeschool them both. Intergenerational trauma and blood memory. I did not know it was in me. The 7 generations taken from their parents. I see it all now. It all makes sense, and the extent. I see colonization rippled through my family, bloodline trying to leave a legacy. But I single-handedly changed my family's destiny. Many things tried to take me down, but no, not this time, not on my dime. Not now, not ever. I raised both my children as a single parent, not my choice. I endured some emotional abuse with narcissistic men, but I found my voice. I raised my children in a born-again church. My kids came to AA meetings with me, as well as with traditional doctoring healing ceremonies. I made sure they had a firm foundation in many platforms, not just only one way. No, there is more than one way, totally. Now here comes the hard part. That church I'd gone to for many years chewed us up and spit us out. It's a long story, but things happen for a reason. I was trying another church out, Vantage, at the Hard Rock Cafe. It turned into Hillsong, and it's where I stay. My daughter I put in the Danny Grossman School of Dance. She was 8, and I was paying a lot. Council Fire had First Fire's dancers, and there was an open slot. My daughter danced with these girls for 4.5 years, the last part full of heartache and tears. My daughter had a falling out with her so-called best friend. Here's where the lateral violence transcends. The jealousy and hate and spirit of offense, lateral violence, the old enemy came to silence. Everything I did to protect my children, my daughter from, was being dismantled. It had begun, just like it did with me. I begged God why. I could not see. From the depths of sorrow and heart-wrenching pain as a mom, the community did me and my daughter so wrong. The demon wants us to lose and fail. Institutions, death, and jail. The bullying, if you're pretty smart and talented and your light shines, these beings will come to steal your time. A preoccupation of sorts to lead you astray from your course. Insecurity, suicide, depression, the switch up, the aggression. The things were put on my kid from narcissists seeking attention. We are Thunderbirds, Bear Clan healers, empathic. They came to steal my children. How tragic. I see the game, 'cause I'm older. They did not know I was a soldier, warrior, slayer. Come for me, naysayer. The fear of losing my girl to the streets. So what I did was dismantle the repeat. Through this painful time I grew strong, with a wisdom so divine. Divine appointments, Creator breathed direction and said it's time. My daughter knows she has a mother who will do everything to fight for her, stand up for her, and cheer her on non-stop. I am a clout chaser, and I am rising to the top. Bullying, lateral violence will be silenced. My daughter was a hoop dancer who has nowhere to dance. Colonization thought it had a chance. I will build a center for my daughter to dance again, raise funds at grassroots level and win. We will do it right and proud, not continue to put others down. Time to decolonize. Creator wants us to be united and strong. Crabs in the bucket mentality has to go. Talking that shiz, that low blow. Stop being a social media assassin. Time to celebrate each other's achievements and not be threatened. by colonization and all that stressing all my relations. Angela Schilling Vart.